And we're going to actually talk about all of the differences these guys are going to experience when they're going out and what they're looking for, because not only is there a difference in weight, there's going to inevitably be a difference in the payload capacity, but there's also going to be a major discrepancy in the price. We can nail this thing down so when a guy's out shopping, he can go straight to it and go, I want this trailer with this feature set up like this, and there's no more guesswork to this whole thing for these guys. Yep. But you can get into too heavy duty of a trailer.
Correct.
And as soon as your gross vehicle weight in combination, truck and trailer,
yep,
go to 26,001 pounds.
Yeah, now you go to like Class A CDL. So you got to have drug screening, pre-employment screening.
But now we've got 3 dump trailers lined up,
yep, with
different options, and we're going to actually walk through them side by side so the guys can understand the benefits and some of the things that they may not want. I'm going to be straightforward with you, Sean. I wouldn't buy a dump truck that had a scissor hoist. It's not just a volume thing, but it's also a weight thing. Volume and weight don't necessarily equate.
Dual ram, and like you were saying, how the weight of the load gets in the front of it, you get a lot of calls saying I can't lift it. Well, that's because they lifted too much, put too much dirt or too much product in front.
Point blank, this is going to be a question that I just want. What's the red flag when these guys are buying a dump trailer? What do they need to go, I don't know. Okay, so now we're looking at, I'm not going to name a brand, right?
A different brand that's less expensive. You can see splatter marks on the welds. You can see no buck, the gaps in between them.
We're salt and rust. Look at the pit holes and not grind down. I mean, it's just the stuff that you get. You gotta watch for.
Jason just made a really good point. All right, so say it again, Jason.
So I was telling him, I said a lot of times we do buy one of our competitors' trailers so we can bring it in so you can show the differences and help sell our other brands.
So your good trailers?
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much you're saving. Okay, yeah, you might save $500 on this trailer, but you can see why you're saving $500 on this trailer.
Yeah. All right, you guys, this was supposed to be just one video, but there was just too much information that I didn't want to cut out because there's guys out there spending $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a dump trailer and maybe not getting what they want or getting a lot less than what they bargained for. And so today this is a jam-packed video. We're going to be talking about DOT requirements and regulations at the 10,000 pound mark, at the 26,001 pound mark. We're going to be talking about different hoist systems, the good, bad, and the ugly of each one of those hoist systems, and what you may be getting for the price that you're going to be paying. We're also going to be looking at different styles of dump trailers, over-the-deck dump trailers, and then we're going to be ending this series talking about the red flags, the major caution signs, and the things that you guys need to look for when you're going out on the market to buy a dump trailer, what to be aware of, because there's a lot of really crappy dump trailers out there, and instead of paying thousands and thousands less, you're paying $500 less, or not enough to justify the lack of quality that you're getting. So this is a pretty full 2-part session. So without wasting more time, let's get into today's video. All right, you guys, I'm with Sean. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Stan. How you doing?
Good to see you. We've got a big program today because we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly with dump trailers, because there's a lot of guys out there buying dump trailers and getting themselves in trouble with the federal DOT before they even connect to it, and not realizing that they can't use what they just bought. Am I right with that?
That's absolutely correct.
And then there's a price disparity between dump trailers, and a lot of guys aren't understanding the differences in quality that they're getting because they're not all apples to apples and oranges to oranges, are they?
That's exactly correct. Yeah, there's a ton of different trailers on the market at all different price points, and there's a reason why you're paying or not paying a certain price for one or the other. No different than automobiles. They all have feature sets that make them unique. What makes them better? Sometimes that comes down to the job you're trying to perform or what it is you're trying to do. But as we go through some of these today, Stan, I think we'll better identify some of those things that guys should be looking for, and just what makes a trailer the real value for what they're doing day in and day out.
So there's guys that as soon as they hook up to their trailer, they can't actually use it.
Correct.
What's happening is they don't understand that as soon as they get over 10,000 pounds, I think, is it 10,001?
10,001, yep.
They are now subject to federal DOT regulations. All right, I'm going to jump in here because there's a number of requirements that you're going to need just when you exceed 10,000 pounds with your truck, and that happens as soon as you hook it up to almost any trailer. And that's going to be a DOT number on the side of your truck. Every driver is going to need their health certificate, logbooks, and there's other regulations that you're going to need to follow. So I'm going to recommend you go to the Federal Motor Regulations website. Is that it? I'll put it in the link. I'll put it in the title down below. Before these guys go out and buy a trailer, they might as well start to look into that, because they can't actually tow it off the lot unless they have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. Am I right?
Correct. Otherwise, they'd be subjected to pretty good fines, shutdowns. It's not uncommon for DOT to shut you down on the side of the road for 8 hours while you go get what you're doing, in addition to fines. So not only do you lose a day's worth of work, now you're subjected to fines and a bunch of other stuff. And now, worst case is you're on the DOT's radar.
Okay. And so then the next step up is the 26,000 pound rule. And this is a big one that a lot of guys don't even, it's not on their radar screen, but you can get into too heavy duty of a trailer.
Correct.
And as soon as your gross vehicle weight in combination, truck and trailer, go to 26,001 pounds.
Now you go to like Class A CDL. So you got to have drug screening, pre-employment screening, and then the same other restrictions as well. But then you got to get fuel tax. I mean, so you're in a whole different class of operation when you get to 26,000 pounds.
But now we've got 3 dump trailers lined up with different options, and we're going to actually walk through them side by side by side so that guys can understand the benefits and some of the things that they may not want in options.
Correct.
All right? So let's look at them right now. Let's talk about the hoist system first and foremost.
Yeah,
Sean.
let's do that. All right. Well, so sure-trac, we're actually one of the few manufacturers that offer 3 different hoists. We offer a dual ram system, which is more your economical system, a little bit cheaper. You know, one of the things with this system here is the dual cylinders are pushing to the rear of the trailer. So if you can look back there, they're actually pushing that rear of the trailer. So now everything in front of that, so roughly 50% of your payload is resistance against what's being applied to the force. So you're putting just additional stress on the frame of the trailer, the bed of the trailer, to dump that load. And it's important on this to be evenly distributed. So if you get a little heavy on the front, you may end up shoveling that stuff off. It's just the efficiency of the pump and the cylinders, you lose some of that because of the resistance and the way that's set up. Okay. If we come over here to the scissor hoist, a little more economical, a little more practical. You got a nice beefy cylinder underneath there. Now you're coming up and you're pushing the front 40% of that trailer. So now you have less payload in front of the trailer, but still a resistance that's going to provide resistance against the frame and the bed of the trailer. The telescopic is one of the newer ones. There's only just a couple other manufacturers now doing that. sure-trac was one of the first. I tell people like this, if you're going to dump this by your hand, where would you go and dump it by? You're going to walk up to the front, you're going to pick it up and dump it. All your payload is behind you, so all the force from the pump, the cylinder is actually being applied to dumping that load. So all your load is behind that. There's no resistance on the frame. There's no resistance on the bed of the trailer. Everything is going to just dumping that load. One of the big benefits of this too is it's all out front. So if you have to do maintenance or service to any of this, it's right out front. You can do it and not have to worry about being crawled underneath there for safety. Out front, easy to maintain. Again, this is just the most efficient. Becoming one of the more popular models in the industry.
All right, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is this new? Because this is a technology that we've been using on our dump trucks, and on end dumps, you're not going to find anything but this technology. So why is it new to dump trailers?
You know, that's a good question, and I don't have the exact answer. When sure-trac first started 15, 16 years ago, the dual ram was the only offer that we had. And that's real big out East Coast and things like that. You'll see a lot of manufacturers do that. But as we expanded our footprint into the West and getting like west of the Mississippi, a lot of the competition was doing the scissor hoist. So we kind of migrated towards that. A lot of it is the design is simple. The costing and getting the necessary components was part of that barrier. And it was expensive at first. Now that we're doing the volume, we're able to get it down. But some of it's just a cost point. There's still skepticism on guys on how sturdy is it going to be. You know, when you look at the dual ram, some guys think that's the most sturdy application because you got 2 cylinders. So now you got 2 cylinders that go wrong. Everything's got to work together. That's not true. You go to the scissor, you got more frame structure underneath there. So not only do you have 1 cylinder, you have 1 bigger cylinder, but you also have a frame structure to help keep that from twisting. This here, again, there's no resistance on this. I mean, you're going up, you're going down. Like you said on the heavy duty dump triaxle, dump trucks and stuff like that, this is simple. You're taking it up, you're taking it down. As long as you're manufacturing a quality product with a sturdy frame structure, you don't have to
I'm gonna
worry
be
about
straightforward with you, Sean. I wouldn't buy a dump truck that had a scissor hoist.
that. I don't know if you can buy one. I don't know.
They
I've never
do.
seen them.
They do sell them. They're few and far between,
Yeah.
and it's just an inefficient model. I mean, to me, this is the only. I mean, this is the one that I bought. Not this trailer. I bought a 16-footer from
Yeah.
you guys, and the reason I bought a 16-foot and the reason I bought one of your guys' trailer is the value. For me, it was a combination of the value of the trailer as well as the payload capacity.
Correct.
Okay, so coming from the industry of the excavation, I get paid by how many tons I can haul.
Sure.
Right? And when I can haul more, I can get paid more. And so when I'm looking at going out and trying to do my jobs, it's not just a volume thing, but it's also a weight thing. This is a huge thing. So these guys got to understand volume and weight don't necessarily equate. That's pretty damn good,
That's
right?
good. That's real good.
Even Jason like that one. So for me, I needed both. I needed the ability to haul a bigger payload, and that meant I needed the strength in the trailer, but I didn't need the additional weight. Now we're actually going to look at a heavier duty model, and we're going to actually talk about all of the differences these guys are going to experience when they're going out and what they're looking for, because not only is there a difference in weight, there's going to inevitably be a difference in the payload capacity, but there's also going to be a major discrepancy in the price that these guys are going to pay, so that we can nail this thing down, so when a guy's out shopping, he can go straight to it and go, I want this trailer with this feature set up like this, and there's no more guesswork to this whole thing for these guys.
Yep.
So now one of the things that you guys do is you use tubing for the framework.
Correct.
So that's structurally as strong as an I-beam, yes or no?
Depending on the weight of the I-beam, and that's where you got to be careful, because not,
Okay.
you know, a lot of guys may do 8 or 10 inch I-beam, but not all I-beam is created equal. Just like this tubing, there's different thicknesses of it that are going to give you the value and strength that you're looking at. So box tubing, there's 4 sides to it. So torsionally, it is more rigid and provides more support than that of the I-beam. But a lot of that's going to depend on the weight and the structure of that. So we use 6-inch tubing. It's 3/16 thick. You got to be careful because some guys may use an 8. So that's the things that you really got to look at, is not all the sizes are created equal, because there's a thickness value that comes into play as well. So the 8-inch I-beam, if they're running at 10 or 15 pounds per foot, it's going to be a little bit more support than you're going to get out of the tube in terms of the overall strength. But part of sure-trac is just having the smart design. Do we need to over-design a trailer? As you were saying, the key is how much can I put in the trailer?
Yep.
So we can go and we can add a bunch of weight to the frame. We can structurally support it so that it's just a tank, but you're going to lose value in terms of what you're able to haul day in and day out. So, you know, some of these other brands that we're going to look at, very nice trailers, heavy built, they're going to weigh more, so you're getting less payload out of it. And we're all going to stand behind and support the fact that, look, this is going to haul what it's going to haul. We're going to stand behind it with our 3-year industry-leading warranty. And then we also run an onboard charger. So at the end of the day, if you are cycling this several times, there's a port here in the front. So you just plug in your extension cord and you can easily charge that overnight. That's just a standard feature on our heavy-duty models.
Are you telling me all trailers don't have that feature?
Not all brands, not all manufacturers do. No, we have a full lineup of dump trailers, and we have more kind of economical, smaller homeowner types that do not, but our heavy-duty industrial grades do.
Just put the battery clamps on?
Yeah, so all of our dump trailers have there's a trickle charge in your 7-way plug. So there's an auxiliary cord in the 7-way that'll throw a trickle charge from your truck. But that's a small amperage. It's not going to give you a full charge. It may give you 1 or 2 extra cycles a day.
Okay.
So if you're dumping this thing, that's what you're doing day in and day out. You're going to want to throw home and throw a charger on this. And as opposed to having to get out an old school charger and hook it up, you just now run an extension cord and plug it in, and it'll charge it overnight for you.
Okay, and then I see
So-
you also have your toolbox is underneath,
So
so that you can secure tools, drop the trailer down, and you don't have to take your shovels home.
Correct. So shovels, binders, I mean, you name it, whatever loose tools that you may have that you want to keep on the job but not necessarily be lugging around in a truck, or maybe you're dropping the trailer off. Who knows what the situations are, but just a nice convenient feature. So yeah, you lower this at the end of the day, and those tools aren't going to get carried away.
Do these guys want a 7 or an 8,000 pound axle typically?
Well, that's a good question, depending on what you're hauling, what your applications are. But you get into that 16,000 pound trailer, depending on your truck, now you're pushing that 26,000 mark that we were talking about earlier with the CDL.
Yep.
So most guys in what they're doing, that 16,000 pounds may not be necessary. 14,000 pound, Jason will be able to talk to you later on. I'd imagine the 14,000 pound is really the common industry.
Well, that gets you under the CDL requirements. So if you use two 8,000 pound axles and you've got a 16,001 pound trailer and you hook it up to a standard 3/4 ton pickup truck, you now have to have a Class A license to legally pull that down the road, empty or full. It doesn't make a difference.
DOT is going to look at what are you capable of hauling.
Yep.
So if your truck and trailer is showing 26,000 pounds, your trailer's empty, he's not going to care. He's not going to ask you to go to a scale and weigh it. He's going to assume you're over what it needs to be. So you got to make sure that you're licensed for what potentially you could be doing.
A guy could buy too big of a trailer and not be able to haul it.
Correct.
Not because his truck couldn't handle it, but because he doesn't have the right licensing. And that's what I want these guys to understand. Just because, oh, I want the biggest dump trailer out there, man, you could be getting yourself into big trouble.
Yeah.
But all right, you guys, that's all we're gonna do for today because we've already overloaded you with information. But on the next video series, we're actually going to show you exactly how dump trailers are cutting corners, trying to save themselves a lot of money and not pass that along to you guys as well. So it's gonna be chocked full of stuff that you need to watch out for when you're going out to buy a trailer. And a big thanks goes out to sure-trac because if they didn't come and help me with this thing, this video would not be possible. So thank you to sure-trac and thank you to M&G Trailer Sales. They happen to be local to me out of Ramsey, Minnesota. So if you are in that neck of the woods, check them out. M&G Trailer Sales sells over 3,000 trailers every single year. So they're not biased towards any one trailer. What they try to do is they try to list them good, better, and best. And that's what we're trying to do with this video today. So tell me your experience with dump trailers in the comments down below, because a lot of you guys have a hands-on experience, and people that are watching this video and looking at it, wanting some real-world feedback, are going to read those comments. So please comment down below. That's all I got for you today, guys. I want you to do one last thing. Check out the video I'm putting here. Check out the video I'm putting there. And please subscribe. Hit the share button. That's pretty good. And then also hit the bell notification. It's like up in one of the corners. And that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow on the next part to this series. God bless you guys, and go get them.